I've never seen roads this damaged. What's with all the fissures?
It's the fire. The steam builds up until the pressure is too big. In here. Most of the town's gone. There's maybe 6 or 7 of us who still live here. We scavenge what we can from the other homes. Prefer not to leave town if we can help it.
Why do you stay?
Well, some of us out of a strange sense of territoriality. Some of us don't want to admit defeat. Most of us are just too poor to be able to move.
How long was the fire burning before people realised how big the problem was?
A long time. 11 years or so. When the fire first began, it seemed mostly contained on the west side of the town. That's where I picked you two up. For a while, the mining company continued to work the east side of the mine. I mean, who cares about people's health when there's profits on the line, right? Then there was this one day in 99. As long as I live, I'll never forget that day.
What happened?
So, the fire had been burning for a long time by this point, right? All that pressure just building and building. But we were stupid. We didn't think about that. We knew we couldn't mine anymore by this point. Too many miners were getting ill. With the main industry gone, a lot of folk did move away. And the rest of us, we figured out of sight, out of mind. We thought we could just go on living normal lives without the coal mine. Please, sit down. It's not a bad city. Might load it into the truck. The one I've got on me out of my house is leaking stuff in everywhere.
Sharon, you were saying?
Oh, yeah. One day, an ordinary day just like any other, the petrol station exploded.
Exploded?
The whole thing. Without warning, boom! The petrol station was located at the main junction in town. It's a crossroads and there's a load of shops and cafes and the like there. I was sitting in one of the cafes when it happened. There was this flash of light and the ground shook. The cafe had these big glass windows at the front and they just shattered, blown in by the air pressure. It was hell on earth. We rushed outside to see what had happened and there was this huge flaming crater where the petrol station used to be and there were these bodies that had been thrown across the street, blood smeared in the tarmac. People are on fire. The stench filled the air and it made you want to keel over and be sick, but you couldn't because there was too much going on, people to try and save.
Were you able to save anybody?
No, not anybody caught in the initial explosion anyway. It was an inferno. I saw a young boy who lived 3 goddamn doors down from me, melting. He was right there on the edge of the crater, trying to cry for his mum, but the heat had singed his vocal cords. All he could make was this horrible wheezing cry, and he was on fire. And I got close enough to see his skin blacken and slip off his body.
I'm so sorry, Sharon.
I still dream about that little boy, even now. Even 23 fucking years on, I see him every time I close my eyes and I hear that wheezing.
I'm guessing that the fire had moved beneath the petrol station and was heating the tanks to ignition point.
Yeah. More Redded Moorcroft's ledger. It wasn't the last.
Wait, did Moorcroft start the fire originally?
Nobody knows how the original fire started. That's how Moorcroft got away without helping any of us when the time came.
What do you mean?
When the fire first started, Moorcroft kept the miners working in all the tunnels. They weren't in danger of the fire, but they breathed in plenty of toxic fumes. Then, because he refused to do anything about the fire, the petrol station exploded. Finally, the government took notice and fenced off the town. They advised us all to move, but they ruled that, because the mine was privately owned, it was the responsibility of Moorcroft to pay redundancy packages to all the miners to help them move.
He refused to pay?
Around the time that the fire broke out, the miners had actually been in a pay dispute with Harold Moorcroft. There'd been talk of unionising. Moorcroft blamed them for the fire, said they'd done it as part of the strike action. They hadn't, of course. No sensible miner would do anything like that. But we couldn't prove otherwise and couldn't afford to fight the legal battle, so Moorcroft never paid the redundancy packages. In all my life, I've never met such a horrible human being. He was a vile man even then. And I'm sure even more now that he's been left to rot in that old manor of his.
He still lives here?
Yeah. Up on hill at Moorcroft Hall. The rest of the family are gone now. His wife died 10 years or so ago, and his son vanished off to some other place, washing their hands of the whole affair.
But he didn't.
Too much pride to leave his family estate, I think. He'd rather sit up on his ruined throne than go anywhere else.
It's better to reign in hell than serve in heaven.
That's the gist.